Hi and welcome to AJ Tunes In. I'm Macharia Maina.
And I'm Jeff Mote. And first things first, maximum respect to the pilot who crash landed over Indonesian waters. And something you didn't know, there were actually Nigerian musicians on board that flight.
The most amazing thing about it was immediately after that whole experience, you would expect them to be traumatized or go and see some shrink, but 3 hours later, they were on stage and rocking it in Indonesia. That's what's up.
So much for trauma on that. On this week's show, mad things coming through. We've got a range of stories for you. Let's start things off. Bez, new playlist from the South by Southwest Festival.
Mandela's got these boys picking out. Chill Out with Dreamers. Our first story takes us to Texas by way of Lagos through the eyes of Bez.
Now, he had been playing the guitar in his bedroom for such a long time, but now recently he's burst into the spotlight and is just gracing international festivals across the world.
And that is just the beginning. Bez is an emerging Nigerian musician. Also, a soulful one. Band members themselves revel in this moment. This was Bez's first cross-continent performance at the South by Southwest Festival in March in Texas, USA.
Well, this is a great year for me. It's a great year for African music as well.
Senegal's Youssou N'Dour, Benin's Angelique Kidjo. They are well known outside of Africa. However, some other African artists do not have the same widespread acceptance. That is now changing. South by Southwest Festival played host to more African musicians than has been there in the past.
As we've developed our taste in Afropop, we started, with the Fela Kutis and the Femi Kutis and the Sean Kutis and, all the guys from Mali.
Artists like Seun Kuti, Fela Kuti's youngest son, brought familiar sounds from Nigeria, backed by Egypt 80, his father's former band. Even Bez band could not help but shake a leg. Bez, or Beziwa Idakola in full, fuses some Western genres with world music, what he has come to call alternative soul. While other artists in Nigeria have taken the Afrobeat route, a style commonly associated with the legendary Fela Kuti, Bez refuses to compromise his sound.
This is the new Nigeria. This is a new sound. Taking sounds from across the world, fusing it with your own sounds, creating something really eclectic and beautiful.
I want more you.
His single, More You, released in 2010, was a starter. Alongside renowned producer Cobhams Asukwo, Bez weaved his sound into his debut album, Super Sun. Cobhams is famous for his hand in the debut album for world-famous Nigerian songstress Asha. These high standards, according to Bez's manager Eni Omerua, are what makes his work easy.
The skill, high skill level as far as the music is concerned, the production and the writing, it's everything that I think a global audience will love about music.
Bez was born into a musical family in Jos, Nigeria.
His late father played the guitar, his mother sang, and his two sisters were also singers. He began playing guitar when he was 10. Bez walks the musical journey now with the world stages in mind, having performed in Nigeria, Kenya, and the United States. In his quest to establish himself as a drum major for storytelling in music, Bez is an artist to watch out for.
The next story takes us further down the continent, east to be precise, and we're off to a bar in Kenya.
Yes, and so many bars are credited as the startups for so many bands as well. And Savage Warriors from Kenya calls it home, for musical reasons, of course. Take a look at this story.
"12 years ago, Ken Lucas and Eddie Mutua, better known as Kenichi and Tua, humbly started their music career. Amidst drinkers and talkers at a bar like this one, Kenichi pulled out his guitar. Tua rapped.
We were thrown out of the bar. Thing is, we came back the next day, and we kept on coming for a whole 6 months until we got better. And as we got better, they started requesting songs. And when we started playing their songs, they started enjoying it and started calling us back. And then we started getting free drinks, and we decided maybe we'd get a few gigs.
A few years later, Brian Ahere, or Yobra, joined the group known today as Savage Warriors.
I believe that for anything to work, you have to start from the ground. You have to build a foundation first. You have to create a fan base before you blow up. If people don't know about you in the streets, then there's nothing you're doing, you know?
Despite an unconventional beginning, they proceeded like any other artist by searching for a studio. But finding the right one was tough. They went through 4 before settling in at Phoenix Records, where popular Kenyan artists like Bamboo are signed.
The artist is the creator of the product, so they know how it's supposed to sound in the end. And that's the nice thing about Phoenix. When the song has been mastered, he'll call us in and say, how does that sound? That's a very important question. Others you just say, all right, your track is ready and I've sent it to the radios. And they're like, wait, you've missed an ad-lib.
I left my home in Zion, Zion. My family in abject poverty. I told them I would be long, going to find myself a better destiny.
I think that's a cool one. Maybe now, with what we have here, I think maybe Tua can now come in and do his part. I don't know.
The scene is the airport. It's Kilo 939 across the road from me.
For Savage, studio time is free.
Overseas, we know your love's rhythm. Thanking you for journey mercies. Amen.
In fact, to be honest, I haven't made any money so far, and that's not my drive for it, but that doesn't stop me. It's for the sound rather than for the return, so I don't see myself stopping anytime at all.
The money comes in when tracks are sold and gigs are booked. Per show, they typically earn 45,000 Kenyan shillings, or around $530 US. Not bad, considering many up-and-coming artists here perform for free. The Savage Warriors are known for both their hard hip-hop and soft acoustic sounds. After all, that's the way they began. Although Savage has progressed to record deals and stage performances, they haven't forgotten their modest origin. They still play at local bars.
It's lovely. It's what makes me. That's how I started liking them. You could be anywhere. You could be camping. You could be somewhere, they'd be there, they just do their thing. They're not afraid, they're not trying to be anything, they're just who they are. Awesome.
There are even times when I've even actually been at a club in Westlands, and I have my guitar in the car, and I happen to meet someone in the streets playing the guitar to make a few coins. I'd actually go to the car, get my guitar, and play with him on the street.
Their belief in collaboration has led them to found a monthly concert at a local restaurant, where more of Kenya's talented artists can perform. They earn the equivalent of around $175 each time. But there's nothing like a free gig at a local bar with just vocals and a guitar. All for the love of music.
We're taking a short break now, as they say, to pay the bills. Stay tuned. You're watching AJ Tunes. Welcome back. Now, AJ tunes in to a group of young South Africans who are backing an old voice.
They're talking about Tata Mandela, who, as they say, has inspired them to become a voice for the youth in Soweto's townships. Let's listen in.
Another posse making its way down the street. Urban kids up to who knows what. But catch up with these guys in their recording studio and the image changes slowly. They call themselves Dreamanskap.
There's what we call in South Africa tsotsi tal. Tsotsi is the word that means a thug. You know, not necessarily a thug, you know. But like, it is a mix of like different vernacular that in South Africa with the Afrikaans. Since we were living in the apartheid system and Afrikaans was the only medium of communication.
The name literally means crew of three, although there are 4 members now.
By the time that joined, I mean, the name was already out there, so we couldn't change it. You know what I mean? So we kept the name even though there were 4 members. And then we grew from being just the crew now to a family. You know what I mean? Like, everyone who does anything positive to support Dreamanskap becomes a part of the family.
The feeling of family they have for their community is part of what makes Dreamanskap unique. They started as an underground hip-hop group, but soon gained popularity. Now, they could afford to move to more fashionable neighborhoods of Cape Town. But instead, they stick to their roots in Guguletu, a poor township in the shadows of the famous port city. Staying put keeps their music in tune with their fans.
Dreamanskap represents the voiceless people. I'm the man who's hopeless, who's a drunkard, who has no hope in life, who thinks like buying cheap wine, that's the only way to survive. I'm that kid in the street who smokes glues. I'm that thug who goes into white people's houses and rob them and kill them. I'm that man in the parliament. I'm that pastor in the church. So it's us, you know. We are being influenced by everything that is around us.
They also give back to the community, donating computers to local schools and supporting other artists. Like Digi Analog, whose music touches similar issues as Dreamanskap.
There are songs that we talk about that are about the conditions that we live in here, you know. For instance, you have a toilet outside, you have a bathroom outside. It's a different kind of like condition from the urban, from uptown, you know. Downtown is completely different.
A lot of musicians here are doing okay. Zorro just returned from Sweden and is producing for Ninja, a father for the local ragamuffin style.
Yeah, man, this is Elder Zorro, man. Is like I would say, is the godfather, you know. The one who influenced most artists, you know, like in Cape Town, you know.
Despite the good vibe created by artists and the good deeds of the Dreamers Cap band, this continues to be a rough place to get by day to day.
So these are the conditions that some people, you know what I mean, live under, which are not so cool, as you can see yourself, you know what I mean. So people struggle here, some survive here, you know what I mean. Some kill themselves there because of poverty and all. This is the place of the forgotten people.
Part of Dreamers Cap's appeal is that they sing in Xhosa, the local language that Nelson Mandela grew up speaking. They think he would be proud of the way that they are trying to help and change their neighborhood.
I'm sure you would be proud, like the way that things have evolved, you know, because back in the days you hardly, you know, found someone rapping in their own languages. As the time went by, like people started like discovering other methods and other ways of conveying the message, of which I believe like it's one of the things that he was standing for. You know, instead of going for the armed struggle, he said, no, let's have like peace negotiations, you know, of which he seeked and came through with a different method of resolution rather than like, you know, blood being spilled, you know. So I think he would be proud though, as long as the message is positive.
Living up to the ideals of a legend is not easy, but Dreamers Cap has so far succeeded. They haven't let the frustration around them give up hope that this township will see better days, with local leadership, investment, and hip-hop spirit.
Now, after taking a look at some of the budding musicians across the African continent, what do you think of this week's show?
We invited a couple of people on Twitter and our Facebook page to tell us what they think about African music, and this is what they had to say. Neville Alberto on Twitter says, Africa should look at itself as one country with one heart. We are one people with one music. Whoa.
It's all about unity there.
Yes, sir. And it's Kwambox, still on Twitter. We are diverse and should appreciate that. Big things are gone.
Big things are gone. Moving on to Facebook, Adeleke Mandy says, the world builds their music on our heritage. Think jazz, think hip-hop, think dance. Everything has its root in the cradle of mankind.
That is some powerful thing.
Absolutely.
It is.
And on those powerful words, your Afro video of the week.
What's my name? What's my name? Say my name. Say my name. Say my name. Say my name. It's on my brain. When I look in your eyes, you make me feel like I wanna fly, touch the sky. Your love can find my trouble. They find my trouble. I never felt this way before. You make me go gaga. I turn my gaga for your bad man swagger. With this feel.
And that, by all reasons and all respects, is a great video. But I just feel people should have appreciated Goldie when she was alive. Now, so many people talk about her, and when she was in the Big Brother house, when she was doing her music, she
when
didn't
she
really
was hooking up with Prezzo.
Yeah, nobody really gave her that much of the spotlight.
But as any other artist, we want to buy their stuff immediately they're gone. Keep a piece of them, Chinua Achebe, Picasso, think Beethoven, Fela Kuti, all these guys, Miriam Makeba, all of them. And I don't know.
Moral of the
life.
story, appreciate them when they're alive.
Okay, before you get your belt out and start whipping people, hook up with us on Twitter @TuneIn, that's our handle, and on Facebook, AJ Tunes In, that is our page, and we'll share your voice with the rest of Africa. Jamming with the legends, Mulatu Astatke and the Zamrock Pioneers, where it all started.
And that has been the first of a spectacular show coming your way. Great series coming through, and it's all about African music.
Yes, sir. Thank you for making history with us and being part of the first show of its kind in Africa. AJ Tunes In joins you next week. I'm Macharia Maina.
And I'm Jeff Mote. Kwaheri.